What is up, guys? Welcome back. I'm Kevin Crates. This is the channel where we go over to crypto news followed by 5 charts every day. Today, we're looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, SNX, Matic, and AXS. And as always, if you're just here for a specific chart, timestamps are down in the description below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn that bell on to catch notifications for all daily uploads. Another wild 24 hours in the crypto markets, Bitcoin pushing up out of nowhere, breaking through multiple levels of resistance to reach around 32,000. Ethereum also pushing up to a high of 1950, and both carrying the entire crypto space back up with them. The only real question is, how long is this pump going to last? Is this the reversal for Bitcoin and the entire market we've all been waiting for, or is this the start of the next leg down? We'll have to revisit that question when looking at the charts later, but overall the market is definitely pumping today. We have Elon Musk and Tesla in the news. Tesla likely to resume Bitcoin payment system. Elon was quoted saying, "I want to do a little more due diligence to confirm that the percentage of renewable energy usage is most likely at or above 50%, and there's a trend toward increasing that number. If so, Tesla will most likely resume accepting Bitcoin." These statements were made at the B-Word conference, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's a virtual Bitcoin conference that was held today that featured notable names such as Jack Dorsey, Cathie Wood, and Elon himself. Elon also made headlines saying SpaceX has bought Bitcoin and he personally owns Ethereum and Dogecoin. And these headlines are part of the reason that we are seeing the markets pump today. It is undeniable that every time Elon makes some kind of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency statement in the news, we do see the markets affected. But it is going to be interesting to see if this actually has a lasting effect on price action in the coming days, or if it's just going to be a momentary hype pump. And in my opinion, unless there are other moving parts of the story that I'm currently unaware of, I don't think this pump will last if they're just based off of Elon's statements. But at the end of the day, we have seen his tweets have massive effects on price action, at least in the short term, so it will be interesting to see how this all plays out. We had Tether in the news. Tether to release long-awaited audits within months. Tether is a stablecoin that's pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar. The currency is the backbone of the crypto economy because of its huge trading volume. In the past 24 hours, $52.9 billion worth of currency was traded, far more than any other cryptocurrency. The only issue is that some don't believe it's actually backed by the US dollar. A research paper released by the University of Texas professor John Griffin in 2018 alleged that Tether is used to manipulate Bitcoin. Griffin also followed up that paper in 2019 with a similar report, although its findings have been disputed by other academics. And I think this is great. I can't wait till this audit comes out because I have personally always used Tether. And it's not that I haven't looked into the controversy around Tether. I just personally think there's a lot of parroting of other people's statements in the crypto space. And for that reason, I'm very excited for this audit. I can't wait till we all find out what the actual truth is to the controversy surrounding Tether. However, with that, I'm going to pass the question off to you guys. Let me know down in the comments how you personally feel about the controversies around Tether. I'm genuinely always curious to read people's opinions on Tether since everybody seems to be on one team or the other. So let me know down in the comments what side of the controversy you're on when it comes to Tether. Looking at Bitcoin's daily chart, let's turn our notes on from before. And again, guys, I'm sorry this video is coming out so late today, but I do have to trade. You see this candle right here? This was the last 24 hours. The amount of action in the market was insane. There's a time that you got to focus on that. So I apologize for getting this out so late. But overall, I just want to point out this is not bullish. I know it feels and looks bullish in the market, but this is still perfectly in line with this downtrend that we've been on for days now. The move down here was sharp. This move up was sharp in a short term. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it counteracts each other. But what it does kind of indicate to me is that this could cap out here, start to trend back down. We're going to have to get a sharp move back down. I can't, unless this candle pushes up strong, that could always happen. But as far as this goes, I don't see this push lasting. Stochastic RSI is low on the daily, on the 4-hour, pretty high. And on the 1 hour, I'd imagine it's low. Yeah, low. So that means that we're going to be consolidating in this range. There still could be another push. I could probably say you could cap it out around 32.7, 33. So that's what we talked about before a few videos ago, that this push might be capped around 33, 33.5. Anything above 34 would have my attention. But as far as a push up in price, that was kind of expected. This push down here over the few days was definitely aggressive. This push up was aggressive as well, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to keep going. We're going to have to watch over the next 24 hours, see if it can consolidate in this range. If it pushes up, we can reconsider how this is going to work out. But in my opinion, it's going to get capped out around 33 and move down. Let's just jump over to the Ichimoku chart. Looking at Bitcoin's daily Ichimoku chart, let's turn our notes on from before. Actually, let's turn the notes off so I can explain something here. See, as far as price action goes, Bitcoin has not challenged the Kumo cloud since pretty much the May 19th crash. It tried to around June 15th, where it did push up to around that 41K price range, and then it barely even made it there, ran out of steam, fell down, tried again a couple times around June 7th, June 10th, still didn't quite reach the cloud, ran out of steam and crashed lower, and where we are now. And I think this might be one last attempt at trying to challenge for the Kumo cloud before prices trend lower. On top of that, I was saying that this candle today, it's not that surprising. It's not that bullish. As far as price action goes, whenever you see these harsh moves down, you do see a big healthy green candle. Again here, big move down, big healthy green candle. That's just the way it goes. Price action has to move down in a healthy way, the same way that it has to move up in a healthy way. Prices just can't drop into the 20Ks just like they can't jump into the 60Ks. But as far as price targets go, let's jump over to the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you see that big bearish red candle with the long wick. This was about a few hours ago. This was about, I guess, 8 hours ago. That's when the market started to trend down. The top for this push was right around here, around 32.8, 32.9 when prices start to move back down. It is trying to move back up. It's staying inside this Kumo cloud, but you can see these long wicks. There's still a lot of downward pressure as far as price action goes. But if you jump over here, so we keep the 32.9 as our high price target and then jump to the 1 day. I'm going to show you guys as far as price action goes. 32.9 is right here on the baseline. So that is also going to be resistance, and you can see the long wicks. The price action is kind of being held in there. But as far as price above that, we talked about 34K on the other chart, which is right here on the Kumo cloud. So around 33.9, 34K would be a major resistance for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin can get above 34K, we can talk about the scenario being bullish. But anywhere under that, it's just the same price action we have seen for the last few months. And if anything, it might just be one last rejection before prices head lower. My price target is still 28K. I'm gonna jump over to the 1 week chart to show you guys why. Looking at Ethereum's daily chart, before we turn our notes on here, you can see that it managed to push back to the 200 EMA today with some pressure down. You can see these long wicks. But if we turn our notes on, this push here was the push leading up to the London hard fork. And I was wondering today when I saw price action pumping if this was another Ethereum-led pump, but it doesn't appear to be that Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin today. The whole market seemed to be kind of moving in unison. So as far as price targets go for Ethereum, we're going to have to watch over the next 24 hours or so if it can manage to get back above 2,000, build support and keep pumping leading up to the London hard fork, which is around 2 weeks away. That could be interesting as far as price action goes. But the stochastic RSI is kind of high on the daily, and if we look at the 4-hour chart, it's very high. So I'd imagine price starts trending back down. Let's jump over to the Ichimoku chart. Looking at Ethereum's daily Ichimoku chart, if we zoom here, you can see it's pressed right up against the baseline. If we turn our notes on here, you can see that 2050 is where the baseline is at, which is the 200 EMA as well on the other chart. As far as price targets go, you're going to want to watch this resistance level of 2150. If Ethereum can get above 2050, build support and push for 2150 or above, that is going to be very interesting because that will be a legitimate challenge of the Kumo cloud, which neither Bitcoin or Ethereum have done since May 19th, which may happen leading up to the London hard fork. My price targets are still low for Ethereum. I don't think this pump is going to last. It all just depends on what happens over the next 24, 48 hours. If it can build support above 2050, make a push for 2150, things could get bullish. But other than that, I'm going to be watching these lower price targets of 1750. And if that does not hold, I'd look for this lower price target of 1550. Looking at SNX's daily chart, let's turn our notes on from before. We can see it's moving pretty much how we talked about as far as support levels go. This 5.5 range, I kind of X'd out there saying I don't think it's going to go down that low. That's pretty extreme considering SNX does have a lot of good news coming up in the next week or so as far as the Optimism launch. I still think these higher price targets should be possible, but considering the state of the market, if Bitcoin and Ethereum doesn't want it to pump, it's not going to pump. But if we look over here, stochastic RSI is low on the daily. Let's jump over to the Ichimoku chart. Looking at SNX's daily chart, you can see it's pressed right up against the Kumo cloud. So as far as charts go, this was a chart that wanted to turn bullish. You can see it tried to switch into a bit of an uptrend here. Now it's turning back into a bit of a small downtrend. And that's just because Bitcoin is pulling the whole market down. So if we turn our notes on and jump into the 4-hour chart, as far as resistance levels go, you want to see it get above 8.7. If it can get above 8.795, make a break for 10.11. And if it can get above there, it can start to make a push for these higher price targets of around $15 or more. But as far as the market goes, everything is getting pulled down by Bitcoin, so you want to keep an eye on these lower price targets of around 7.5. I don't think SNX could go much lower than that. If anything, this bounce kind of makes it more possible, then it's not going to be going lower than that. These lower price targets of 5.9, I don't think are going to get hit. There's too much going on with SNX. Even this Kumo cloud isn't that thick. It wants to turn bullish. And you can see here on the daily chart, it's pressed right up against the Kumo cloud. But as far as the market goes, Bitcoin dictates how the market moves. So as far as price targets go, I keep an eye on those resistance levels of around 8.7 to 9.5, but I'd also keep an eye on these support levels around $7 to $8. Looking at Matic's daily chart, let's turn our notes on from before. You can see here that it's moving pretty much against these resistance levels we laid out last time we talked about it. I just wanted to retouch Matic because it has dipped quite lower than we expected. It went below this 70 range, just wicked down to around 60 for a moment, but that's a pretty crucial level for Matic because Matic does not have a lot of support on the way down to the 50s and 30s. So let's take a quick look at the Ichimoku chart. Looking at Matic's daily Ichimoku chart, let's turn our notes on from before and zoom in and take a look at these price targets. This resistance level of around 95 is pretty crucial. It's where the baseline is. It's kind of capped out there at the moment. If it can't get above there, I'd look for prices to start trending back down lower. Kumo cloud would be around 120, which is pretty unlikely considering the state of the market. However, with the London hard fork coming up, Matic will pump if Ethereum pumps, but overall price seems to be moving down, and losing that support level here around 70 was pretty crucial. So I start watching this lower price target around 56. Stochastic RSI is kind of low, but kind of midway on the 1 day. Pretty high on the 4 hours and probably low on the 1 hour. Yeah, it's low on the 1 hour. So it's probably going to keep consolidating in this range before trending lower or trending higher. It really all depends on what happens with Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin and Ethereum start to dip, I start watching out for this lower price target of around 56 for Matic. Looking at AXS's daily chart, if we turn our notes on, we see that it pretty much bounced right off our target. If you go back to our video from the other day, you can see that we talked about this area being a bouncing point for Axie Infinity, and it looks like that worked out perfectly. Stochastic RSI very low on the 1 day. I don't think Axie Infinity is done. I think it's going to keep pushing for higher price targets. Let's take a quick look at the Ichimoku chart. Looking at AXS's daily Ichimoku chart, this is still such a bullish looking chart. Before we even turn our notes on, you see here, this big candle pushed it back above the conversion line. Stochastic RSI is low. Baseline is down here. Conversion line is there. Lagging span is way back there. Kumo cloud's way over there. And if we even turn our notes on here, you see it's still in uptrend zone on the daily. It bounced right off 50, went straight back up. So as far as price targets go, we're going to jump over to the 4 hour chart. Looking at the 4 hour chart, if we turn our notes on, you can see it bounced perfectly off of this level we talked about around 14, pushed into the Kumo cloud. So as far as price targets, I'm going to be watching as far as Axie Infinity goes. It's got to hold this level of around 22. If it can't hold 22, you're going to watch this crucial support level of 14 to be held onto. But as far as resistance goes, if it can get above 25, build support, I would pretty much expect it to push for all-time highs into the 30s. So as far as price targets go for AXS, you're going to want 22 to be held. Above that, you're going to want to get a push going towards 25 and claim 25 for a push to all-time highs. And as far as major supports, you're going to watch that 14 level to be held. All right, folks, that's all for today. If there's any charts you want to look at in the future, leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and turn that bell on to catch all daily uploads. If you're not following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_ on Twitter. I'm extremely active on there. Anytime you tweet at me, I will always tweet back at you. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'm out.